Hello, my friends. So today's episode is all about numbers, what numbers to look at, how often, and what to do if you look at your numbers and you feel worried or you just straight freak out. Okay. So you probably know about the importance of tracking certain things in your practice and the reason why we're doing this, right? You want to be comparing certain data from month to the month last year. So, for example, you will look at your numbers in December and you compare them to last year's December to see how healthy your practice is, whether you're growing and just kind of have a pulse on things in your practice. The reason why it's important is because numbers are a good indicator of what needs to change or what we just need to rinse and repeat what's working. Okay. When I say numbers, you probably know what it is, but let's just, for the sake of everybody being on the same page, I am curious to see if you're in two camps. You are either do not look at your data for your practice, for your numbers at all. Like you just feel super uncomfortable dealing with anything financial. And so you run your payroll, you make sure the bills are paid, but otherwise you just feel like a resistance and like, I don't want to look at that. You just feel super uncomfortable. You don't even want to look at your bills. Like they're piling up. Your mail is just piling up and we're like not looking at this. You're either in this camp or you're in the camp of, I'm a queen of control and I know all my numbers. I know them daily, but I still feel anxious. And the funny thing is you're probably hitting your goals, but you still feel like crap while you're hitting them. You still feel anxious and worried. So we're going to talk about these both camps. So if you're in camp number one, there's a lot of things that I can help you with, but please email me. Please let's talk so I can help you get over all the crappy socialization that we as women had about not being responsible with finances and not wanting to look for them. Because here's the truth. Here's the bottom line, the one-liner for why you don't want to look at your finances. It is because you think that you have not been handling them well. That's why. You think that you have made some mistakes. You think that you have made some bad choices and you don't want to see your own mistakes. That's why, you don't want to open those bills. That is why. And of course, you know that if we don't look at them, then we can't improve them. And let me tell you something. You are a human, my friend. You're a human doctor, and humans sometimes don't make the best decisions. And that's literally part of it. It's part of the game. Okay, so I hope this will help you start opening the mail and start going to gauge of however you're tracking in your practice management software, your numbers. But I want you to start looking at your numbers. And the very bare minimum that you want to look at is, okay, my marketing efforts, right? Like how many new patient calls we have a month? Where are my new patients are coming from? So important. You want to know what piece of marketing is working so that you can double down on that. I see people spending tens of thousands of dollars on things that bring hardly any patients back. And if we don't look at that, we're going to keep wasting money on strategies that don't work. So let's please collectively not do this. But the only way to catch it is you have to look at your numbers and you have to study them. Okay. So, and by the way, I'm going to have a list. I'm going to attach a document to this episode that gives you the most common numbers to track if you're early or in your career and you're not quite sure, or maybe your manager or somebody else is tracking them, but there's so many things we're tracking. It's so detailed that you are losing the basic control and sense understanding of the health of your practice. Okay. There's some very basic things that I want you to be tracking. So new patients, where they're coming from, the number of exams, the number of yeses, starts or contracts, and the number of no's and the reasons why. So we can follow up with them, right? So I want you to be looking at your numbers. Now, second question is how often? do you look at them? The first camp of people that are afraid to look at their finances typically don't look at them at all. Like, well, not at all. Once a year, right? When our accountant asks us for those numbers for taxes. That's like that painful end of the year feeling. The other camp that is ultra under control looks at them daily. Here's my suggestion. Not daily, not once a year, weekly. Okay, I want you to look at your numbers every week. All right, so that answers the question of how often. And number 3 is, okay, you look at your numbers and you feel worried about hitting those numbers. So what do you do about that anxiety? What do you do about that feeling of worry? And here's where I don't hear anybody talking about this. And I have a solution for you, my friend. So if that's you and you are frequently looking at your numbers and you feel this pressure and worry, gosh, I hope we will hit those numbers this month. And by the way, typically you who is keeping track of your practice, you are typically hitting your goals and you typically have enough number of starts or contracts. And so the actual health of the practice, the finances is not a problem. The problem is how you feel. You constantly feel this pressure and that fear and anxiety over achieving, hitting the bottom line, basically. And so if that's you, here's what I want to offer you. So next time you pull up Gage or whatever the software you're using for your data, and you're looking at the numbers weekly, remember, and you feel this worry and anxiety starting to bubble up, here's what I want you to do. Don't just look at the numbers. We don't have direct control over numbers. Like, how can we control? How can we say, I'm going to have 60 new patients calls this month, right? Or like, I'm going to have 30 starts. That's a goal, but like, we don't have the direct control over people coming to our practice and saying yes. But what we do have control is over the actions that we take to get these people through the door. Okay? So whenever you look at your numbers and you feel worried or you feel anxious, I want you to switch from the numbers towards the list of actions that you and your team are taking every day, every week in order to hit your goals. That, my friend, is where you do have control. Okay? The output is what we can control. And ultimately, when we control the output, we control the result. Right? So I want you to have, I call it in my mastermind, and one-page marketing sheet is I want you to have very clear idea of, okay, this is where the bulk of my new patients are coming from. Like, for example, for orthodontists, right, it would be the main ones I see referring dentists. Then it would be internal referrals, right, asking existing patients to refer their friends and family. And third is ads, right, like Facebook ads. And so I want you to know, like, your number one, let's say it's dentist referrals. Okay, like 80, I don't know, not 80, probably 40% of my marketing or my new patients coming from referring dentists. Okay, great. How many drop-offs am I doing each month, each quarter, each week? What are the actual actions? Then who is dropping off? Is it my staff? Is it me? Can I make new relationships with new people? Can I follow up with them? Can we schedule more lunches? Can I personally reach out to them? Like, I want you to be have this list of actions that you know what you're tracking. Let's say it's internal referrals. Like, I coach some practice owners who the bulk of their new patients are coming from just internal referrals. Okay, I want you to be tracking how many times per day does my team or me are asking existing patients for a referral. That, my friend, is where I want you to challenge your worry and anxiety towards the action list. And then what's going to happen is you are going to create this predictability with your marketing efforts where you know which levers to pull to create the result that you want. Meaning, let's say we have a goal of 10 new patients. You will learn that it takes you to talk to 15 dentists and spend $2,500 in ads and post 15 reels on Instagram, for example, in order to receive 20 new patient calls that will convert into 10 new patient exams. And then out of those, maybe you convert 6 into actual contract starts. You're going to start to see this like a funnel, right? Think of it like a funnel. It's like a triangle upside down. On the top, it's like the wider part is all this massive action that we're taking, all these, lunch, like organic marketing, reaching out to people, or just going to events and maybe posting on social media, like all these things that we're doing. And then it kind of funnels down to people just learning that we exist and we offer help, into actually engaging with us or our content, and then people actually scheduling a phone call, right, for a new patient exam, and then actually coming for an exam, and then actually becoming a patient of record, right? It's going to be this whole funnel. Sometimes it's shorter, right, if it's a referral. But I want you to, whenever you feel this anxiety over future and uncertainty over your ability to hit your numbers, I want you to have that certainty through the list of actions, okay? And maybe you have a bigger practice and you don't track these things. That's not a problem. Somebody has to be your social media manager, your treatment coordinator, your office manager. Somebody needs to track these numbers, and you need to be having meetings with them regularly, at least once a month, so you can go over the data and see, are we allocating time, resources, right? Time and money are our two main resources. Are we allocating these resources well in order to create the kind of demand and the kind of results that we want? Okay, my friend? So to summarize, if you are somebody who is afraid to look at your numbers, it is because you think that you messed up, or you made some sort of a mistake, or you didn't do something well. And maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. Who knows? But if you keep not looking at them, things are obviously not going to improve. Okay, so at some point, you just have to master the courage and start opening those envelopes. And I'm more than happy to help you. Please reach out. Please send me an email so that we can start figuring things out. And if you're somebody who is ultra organized and you're very in control and you're checking your numbers all the time, daily, going to bed, looking at them, but you are successful. That's the funny part of it. Like those people that control things or try to control things, they are typically successful, but we still feel this pressure and worry over hitting our goals. And then if that's you, I want you to shift from not just looking at numbers, but have a list of actions that lead to those numbers. And that's where I want you to hyper focus your attention. Okay, have we asked 5 patients for a referral? Not just a Yelp review, but for a referral. Let's put it somewhere in our signature in the email. Referral. One of my clients has this beautiful signature under their email. Referral is the best compliment. Let's make it a habit asking our patients for referrals. Let's create a social media calendar or just marketing calendar. So we're not just sporadically doing drop-offs to dentists or going to dental meetings when we're like, oh my God, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. Let's have a whole annual, like a year in advance plan for when we're going to do this and allocate time and resources for that. Okay. So let's have this idea. And if this sounds amazing, but you don't have time to take notes from this episode, or you just want done for you either metrics or what are the action steps to take, I'm going to include a document with this episode that you can upload and have this done and ready for you. All right, my friend, I hope that was very helpful. And if you are somebody who is worried about hitting her metrics, hitting her numbers every month, I hope this is very helpful. I hope you will focus on the actions that you can take that are under your control instead of just fixating on the numbers. All right, my friend, have a beautiful week. I'll talk to you next. Bye.